Meet Miss Cooper. She is a graduate teacher, one who was taught in a university degree in New South Wales. She engaged with the policies and the content she was taught, which included 2 subjects which focused on Aboriginal perspectives, yet the following scenario is one which doesn't use the learnings, one which can be seen in many mainstream classes in cities and suburbia around New South Wales and Australia, one which doesn't include any Aboriginal perspectives, and one which is impacting the results of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander students all around Australia. As Miss Cooper graduated university, she was already offered a full-time position in a rural school. Her class would be made up of 17 Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander students in kindergarten who were raised in traditional Indigenous ways. Miss Cooper, being from a predominantly white, middle-class suburban background, was anxious about her upcoming employment. She had heard negative things about the area she would be working in, even before she left her hometown on the south coast of New South Wales. Her family were telling her how much of a hard time she would be having whilst there, that her students would have difficult behaviours and that their families would be disinterested in the Australian government-enforced education that their children would be receiving. When she finally got to the small town, the staff from her school didn't quell any of these fears. She heard comments being passed that the students were difficult and, not coming from Western society, were not aware of how to act in school and learn in a Western environment. Miss Cooper was even more nervous now. She wasn't sure of how to teach these students, and her Western university degree was not as helpful as it could have been if she were to stay on the south coast of New South Wales. Miss Cooper attempted to meet with the other teachers in the school to get an understanding of their experience, which would hopefully be helpful. However, many of her colleagues were also graduates, bringing no more than she was to the school. The teachers she did talk with all had similar fears, that the students would be difficult to teach and difficult to get into a routine. She found records of her students' older siblings who had gone through the school, and their results were very low, with several behavioural issues seen as a commonality between these older students. Miss Cooper was extremely unsure about the position she had taken, thinking perhaps these students couldn't be taught. Miss Cooper soon realised that she was applying a deficit discourse to her planning, before she had even met her students. Deficit discourse is something which is highly impacting the lives of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, even affecting their health. She was listening to the fears her own community were putting on her. Her pedagogy may have been westernised, however they were ways she could turn this around to ensure she was engaging with the whole student and acknowledging what was in their virtual school bags. So Miss Cooper reached out. She used the wider community, talking with local elders and people the department had in place to aid her in her teaching, such as the Aboriginal Consultative Group and the Aboriginal Liaison Officer. They discussed with her ways in which the children had learnt prior to school, that they were taught